In my opinion, the iStick was the mod of the year in 2014. Well, guess what? Eleaf's back, and in 2015, they have a whole lot more to show us. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back to this edition of the Vapor Chronicles. Tonight we're going to review the brand new Eleaf iStick 30W, which stands for 30 watt. This is a little old, a little new, and it merges together. Every complaint that people had with the original iStick, they've addressed it. All the new features, they've added it. This is going to be their middle of the road device. And to give you an idea of what they're sort of doing, Eleaf is positioning themselves perfectly in this market. They're releasing products for different levels of vapors, for different people's vape preferences. Like my wife, for instance, she does not like to take, a powerful hit on my Sigelei and my sub tank. She hates it. She thinks it's absolutely horrifying. So for her, Eleaf's going to come out with a device that meets her needs and wants. For people like myself, Eleaf's going to come out with the 50 watt device that is coming out in a few weeks, okay? And in the middle of the road, for people that want small but powerful, that's where this new iStick falls in. Let's talk about some specifications. If you've seen my original iStick review, which was my first review on YouTube ever, you can look that up and watch some terrible lighting, terrible audio, and me being slightly uncomfortable, to say the least. The original iStick, though, as soon as I first laid eyes on it last August, I fell in love. I knew it was going to be the future. The iStick, love it or hate it, it was a game changer for this industry. And you can already see the impact that has rippled into 2015 from that device that Eleaf released last year. This iStick 30 watt is the same body as the original iStick. Size-wise, it's the same battery. It's 2200 milliamps. It has the same charging on the bottom. It has the same screen. It has the same rattly button, which I think I would have liked them to fix, but hey, there's always an iStick 30 watt too. It's starting to feel like Apple, Every company's doing this. They can't make perfect products, I guess. And it wouldn't be a good business decision to do that. Anyway, I'm happy with this update because it really has addressed the key features I had trouble with. Let's do this. Let's zoom in. We're going to take an up-close look at the iStick 30 watt. They also sent me the Lemo sub-ohm tank, which is a 3.5 milliliter sub-ohm tank with huge airflow, 0.5 ohm coils, and hopefully it'll hit like a champ. You can watch my review of that. It'll be out sometime today also. After we take a look up close, we'll zoom back out. I'll give you my impressions, and we'll take it for a vape, and then we'll finish up this review. All right, so let's zoom in. All right, so here is the up close of the iStick 30 watt. On the iStick 30 watt, Eleaf included with the iStick for me the new Mellow tank. It's a sub-ohm tank designed for the iStick 30 watt by Eleaf. And we're going to take a look at that in a separate review, so check my channel very shortly, and I will also upload a full review of the Mellow tank and give you my impressions. As you can see, this is a 22.3 millimeter tank. And I'm not going to go into the specs about the tank in this review, but I want to show you how the design of the new, or I should say the redesign of the original iStick, which has become the iStick 30 watt, really, they changed the top here. See how it's contoured? So you have your airflow openings there if you have air that comes in at the bottom of your 510 for certain devices. And you can see it has a little kick right here, like a spoiler on a car. And this will support 22 and 23 millimeter tanks, and it'll be flush here. I like it. It's a much better design than the original iStick, just having a sharp edge there. It's kind of smooth, and it's almost like a gun grip. You feel that little bump right there, and it gives you a little bit more vape stability. So I really like that. So on here, it's the same exact shell as the original from here down. Same battery. This is Eleaf. The screen is the same, except it has some more functionality, and I'll show you that in a second. So let's take this off. Let's look at the top. So now, I love a company that listens to the consumers. That's going to be a successful company. And, the game changer that was the original iStick, it was not without its flaws. And a great company will say, oh, so this is something we need to fix, and then come out with a revision or a new product that addresses that. Some people say, it shouldn't have been done that way in the first place. But you know what? Nobody's perfect. And if you're perfect, stay away from me because you're full of shit. Let's push on this. Spring-loaded, beautifully spring-loaded 510 right there. Brand new, upgraded stainless steel threads. They're going to wear much, much better than the original iSticks. And it's just a great design. I think this is going to work with a lot of different tanks for this device, so it's more flexible. Let's turn this on. So there you go. I'm at 30 watts. So you can read the resistance on the screen here. You can also lower your wattage here by going down. It's different than before though. If you hold this, it'll pick up speed, and then when you let go, it stops. So no more triple clicking and all that. Hold it, it goes all the way down to 5 watts. If you hit the power button 3 times, it'll go to volts mode. So it'll go all the way down to 2 volts, and it'll go all the way up to 8 volts. Okay, to go back to watts. Now you can still see on here the watts on the left bottom, but it makes the volts bigger. 3 again, it goes back to watts. One of the issues with the last iStick that I didn't like very much was, say for instance I have a certain tank on here at 13 watts, right? And I'm vaping away. I put this in my pocket and I hit it and hold it by mistake, and then the old iStick, it would go up to like 17 watts and I wouldn't know because it was in my pocket, right? So this one, they fixed that. So say I'm at 13 watts, and you always like to vape this certain tank at 13 watts, right? Well, what you do is you press the up and down arrows. Well, it's at 13.1, but you get the point. It locks it. So now, when you hit the up and down, it doesn't do anything. It won't change. It'll stay stuck at 13.1 watts, which is wonderful. So now I can vape away. You have your puff counter, and it's not going to adjust at all until you press the up and down again, and it goes to unlock again. Okay? So it's beautiful. And this is reading 0.6 ohm on this sub-ohm coil for the mellow. Other than that, it's everything that made the iStick such a wonderful device, but capable now of, sub-ohm vaping. You can vape 0.4 ohm resistance coils all the way up to 5 ohms. The device is capable of 5 watts to 30 watts, 2 volts to 8 volts. It's a 2200 milliamp hour battery, and the charge time takes about 2.5 hours with a 1A wall adapter. Comparing this to the original iStick, let me just get this out of the way real quick. These are the differences, okay? There's a lot of similarities, but these are the true differences. Now, the resistance range, that's different. The wattage range and the voltage range goes higher, but the same battery life as the original, okay? It now has the spring-loaded 510 with the wear-resistant stainless steel threading. It also has a streamlined design on the top that now fits 22 and 23 millimeter atomizers. It also has the button lock function for pressing up and down and locking it into the wattage or voltage that you would like to stay. Every complaint that people had was addressed and dealt with this revision. Let's fill up this mellow. Let's head back out. Let's take this brand new iStick 30 watt for a vape, and I'll give you my final words and conclusion. All right, so what do you think? It looks really, really good. There's a lot of nice new features. I love the new lock mode, so when it's in your pocket, you're not going to have it switch the volts or the watts on you. I really love the new spring-loaded 510. I'm a huge fan of the way they designed the new top while still retaining the small, stealthy size of it. 2200 milliamps is sufficient. But you will recognize that as you start to use sub-ohm coils, they're going to draw more power, and this battery is not going to last as long as it would in, say, an Aspire Nautilus Mini or something like that. If you're going to sub-ohm, if you're going to vape at above 13 watts, make sure you get a tank that supports it. So you can get a sub tank, you can get the Lemo, you can get rebuildable tanks as long as you know how to wrap coils and you understand resistance, and you want to look up Ohm's law and things like that to make sure that you're fully educated in the safety and the practices of building yourself. But if you want amazing vapor production, Joytech released the new Delta 2 tank. I love it. Absolutely phenomenal tank. The Lemo is, I've already put it through its paces. I love this tank. The Aspire Atlantis, it's a good tank. It produces a lot of vapor, but I think there's better now. So get a new tank if you want to get into sub-ohm vaping. Another feature that I'm really, really happy with is the stainless steel threading on the 510. I had stripped iSticks. Okay, the original iSticks. I had videos on it. I had a bending adapter video, and I went on and on. I'm glad they improved that. Great job, Eleaf, for that. I also like the fact that this retains the small size, but they didn't stop here. They're going to have another device which is double the capacity of this battery life, and it also will fire at a much lower ohm level in the iStick 50 watt. So they're really covering all their bases with multiple devices, and it really is going to suit the needs of a lot of vapors in 2015. Can they have lightning strike twice? I really, really think so. The only problem is since they came out of the gate first, competition can always come up from the rear and run right past you. So we'll see what happens with that. There's two issues with this device, and it's not at all, at this price range, this thing is a steal. There are two things that are questionable about it. And I say questionable because one of the things I think is bullshit, and it doesn't bother me in the least bit, but I don't fire at low wattage. Rattly fire button. I would have liked that to be fixed. Number two, if you don't know, one of the complaints some reviewers had with the original iStick is that it had pulse width modulation. And pulse width modulation, I'm not an electrician or an engineer. You guys can comment all you want and educate each other and get doctorate degrees, and that's not why I'm here. But I do know that some people talk about this rattlesnake effect that at lower wattage levels you used to experience with some of the earlier devices. The iStick 30, and even the iStick 20 for me, for this vapor, I never had a problem at all. So what if it fired hot a little bit? My taste would adjust the wattage based upon, that's why having a variable voltage, variable wattage device is awesome, because depending on your preferences, the coil you're using, how your flavor preferences, you can adjust the settings accordingly. I think this has pulse width modulation. I'm not 100% positive, so I will add an annotation if I'm incorrect, but I do believe it does, and I don't give a one crap. It's perfect. It actually fires. I was doing a demo today at a store against an IPV Mini, and it fires better at 30 watts on an Atlantis and on the Mellow than the IPV Mini does, because it fires hotter. That's good. It's like getting more for your money. Is it precise and exact to a science? I don't know. I don't care. I vape based upon flavor, not on statistics and numbers. Now, if the numbers meant that you're going to cause harm to somebody or have it damage somebody's health, then screw that. That's bad. But if it meant that they could come out with a small, powerful, stealthy vape at a price that was more affordable, more power to them. Great decision, Eleaf. Okay? I do hope, though, that the 50 watt fixes it. Just because I think that the higher you go up in the experience level for vaping, the more people demand certain features, and they're willing to pay a little extra for it, I think. So I hope they do that with that device. We shall see. So this is set at 30 watts, 0.6 ohms. It's reading at 4.2 volts on the Lemo with the iStick 30 watt. Let's take it for a vape. I love this tank. This is another amazing tank. Are we going to get to a point where every tank is just simply exceptional and then they can't get any better. So, no new tank is going to ever get better than the tank before it. I think once we hit that point, maybe it'll be about design aesthetics and like art or, looks. I don't know. But I think that we're getting to that point where the vapes are just so good from all these new devices, and all these new coils, can support satisfying vaping for the masses. And these coils, they're awesome. So that's at 30 watts. It handles the power perfect. Great flavor, great vapor production, not too hot. I like it a lot. So let's take that tank off and let's put a bigger millimeter tank on here and see how it vapes. So let's put a Limo on here. This has got, I think I have a pretty reasonable build in here. Let's see. I forget. Screw this on. This is 23 millimeters. And this fits perfect. It's reading 1 ohm even and 5.4 volts. And you can see how this sits on here. Let's give this a beat. Love the Limo. It sits on here great. It is tall, but if that's an issue for you, you can pick up the Limo Drop. So the Limo Drop will also sit on there very nice and be satisfying for you. But let's go big or go home. I'm a huge sub-tank lover, so let's drop a sub-tank on this bad boy and see how it sits and how it fires. Thread it on. Wow, it's actually really good. There's a tiny bit of overhang, but it is really good. I mean, it's big. It's as big as the iStick, but take a look at that. But it's not, awkward at all. It's like a big vaping gun, 5 milliliter vape gun. So let's hit this. 0.5 ohm. This is the OCC coil. It's been sitting for a little while, so I gotta get the juices flowing. Almost caught me. That was a wet, airy draw, or a wet, thick, vapey draw. Vapey. Is that even a word, vapey? Sounds like you're a baby, but you're a vapor. A vapor baby. Sub-tank. iStick 30 watt. Success. Once again, Eleaf has done it, and the iStick 30W is a success. I'm very happy with this device. I can highly recommend it from me to you. It feels good, it looks good, it vapes good, and keep your eyes peeled on my channel. We also have the iStick 50 watt, the Cloudpore Mini, and the Joyetech Ego 1 2200, I believe, the XL. That's coming shortly too. So stay tuned. I'll see you next time on the Vapor Chronicles. Have a great week.